Hello everyone, welcome to Inside to BQool, the series where we give some useful tips with a focus on the Amazon seller's needs and how BQool products can actually help fulfill some of this and how to do it. Today, in today's episode, I would like to focus on setting min and max prices. We've been asked this question a lot by our users. Setting min and max prices is a very delicate matter, and we know that is the most important thing when using a repricer. Usually, we provide answer to how to do it technically on the platform, but which number should you use? The first thing, of course, I want to know and clarify is that each seller is different. Everyone has different needs. So, of course, giving general tips is a bit hard. But at the same time, there are things that you might know, you have to know, and you can consider when setting your min and max prices. For example, it's important to know that setting the min price, obviously very important to not sell for a loss or maybe to get zero profit. But it is also important to set the max prices correctly. This is something that sometimes is a bit forgotten because max prices shouldn't be just a crazy high number, but it should be still a number that makes sense. And it's probably, let's say, the best case scenario for yourself. Otherwise, if you set max prices too high, you can, for example, get your item delisted. Amazon will consider the price too high and it will just delist the item. We have a lot of users with this problem. So the first thing to know is the max price in this case is very important to be set. So you can use the calculation also for the max price. Don't just put a random number like $1,000. But how do you calculate them? One important thing to consider is obviously you have to consider your costs. So when calculating min and max prices, you have to start from your cost. Your purchasing cost, obviously, but there are other costs involved in your items. The Amazon fees, closing fee, and all that, it's already downloaded into Repricing Central, our product. So most of the calculation can be done importing these values. But you might have other additional costs that you can still add to your main cost. For example, if you have inbound shipping, you can add it to your purchasing cost. So calculating minimum pricing using your cost is very, very important. The moment you have your cost, then it is important to use a calculation that will consider your profits. So what I suggest and what we suggest, because it is actually possible to do in Repricing Central, is to use calculation based on profit margin or return on investment, ROI. In this case, you make sure that no matter what's the pricing point of all of your items, you're always going to have the same profit percentage. So which percentage should you use? This is another thing that is important to know, that depending on the seller, depending on what kind of product you're selling, depending on how old your product is, you obviously want to change different percentages, try and see how it goes. Well, one golden rule in the Amazon seller world is to use the one called the 3-time rule. So if you have a cost of $1 and you have additional cost of another $1, and then if you sell at $3, then you're going to have an actual profit of $1. In that case, your ROI is 100%. The return of investment, you invest at $1, you're going to get back another $1. This might work as a golden rule, but of course it depends. For example, depending on the category of your product, you might get not enough sales if you have an ROI this high. So for some items, especially the one with a low price and very high volume, you might want to stay a bit lower, just because what you're not going to make in a profit on single items, you're going to make it with volume. So just play with the number and see how high you can go or how low you can go depending on the category and on the profit. One thing you want to know is that the profit margin works differently than ROI. So profit margin will never be 100%. Because it's including your cost. So you shouldn't go too high with this number. For example, our system, Repricing Central, doesn't even accept any value for profit margin that is higher than 85%, because that will just make a number that is so high that it doesn't make sense on the calculation. So keep your profit margin lower if you want to use profit margin. If you want to use ROI, we notice, for example, some of our customers use something around 80 to 100% ROI. If you're calculating your max price, of course, you can go higher. You can go to 200 or 300% ROI. But again, this is mostly related to your product. So you can just play a bit with the calculation. Maybe with one individual listing, just open the profit calculator and just fill in all the cost information, all the data, and you can just see how the system will help you come up with the price. You can just check this, and when you have find out your percentage, your number, you can apply this in bulk using the bulk action in Repricing Central. This concludes today's episode. If you have any question related to min-max prices, we know you have a lot. Just put them down in the comment, or you can also write to support@BQool.com. And if you have any suggestion for the next episodes, any other tips, feel free to let us know. We are really happy to receive any feedback from the community. For today, this is it. Thank you for watching.